Welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I'm Roger Killen, the Community Manager. Today, Michael Challenger is going to help us become bold and unstoppable by breaking through our fears. Michael, I have got 3 questions that will help us get to know you at a personal level. The first question is this: what do you define as your greatest accomplishment?
So at this present time, I can honestly say that being an entrepreneur since the age of 13, and literally been an entrepreneur since the age of 13 into my 40s, is my greatest accomplishment.
Okay, question number 2. What is your superpower?
My superpower, great question, is getting my clients the results that they want. I have an ability of really empowering my clients, getting them clear and getting them the results that they need with whatever industry that they're in. So by the time I'm done with my clients, they feel empowered to go out and do what they need to do.
That is indeed a superpower. Question number 3. What is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
You know, it's very simple, but I think that earlier on when Cindy was talking about feeling like she wanted to give up, the best piece of advice is to never, never, never give up. If you are truly invested in your mission, never, never give up. And to piggyback on that is that there's a quote that I love is he or she who strives to win has already won.
Okay, good one. Now, participants, Michael is going to get his energy from you. If you, and accordingly, I ask that you come on camera for as long as possible. It's very difficult for Michael to feel energized when he's looking at empty black boxes. So please come on camera if at all possible. Secondly, stay muted and type any questions that you got into the chat. At about every 10 minutes, I will pose the questions in batches to Michael. Now, this workshop is being recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to the EIN YouTube channel. I will be posting the link to that channel in the chat so that you're able to navigate to the recording of Michael's talk. I tell you this to let you know that you don't need to take notes. Of course, you're welcome to. The notes will help you learning, but you don't have to. Please engage with Michael as much as possible. Michael, are you ready to knock our socks off?
I am ready to knock your socks off.
I'm going to disappear, remove spotlight, and the show, good sir, is all yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Roger, for having me tonight. And thank you everyone for showing up tonight. It gives me great pleasure to discuss being bold and being unstoppable, specifically for entrepreneurs, because I know myself being an entrepreneur, what it takes to really get the results. And so when I'm working with my clients or when I'm working with businesses, I always like to push people in terms of when it comes down to their creativity. Every single one of you on the call since I've met you, you guys all have something very unique to offer. And so it's your job to be really creative. So once you get to know me, we're going to talk a little bit about who I am and some of the things that I've been able to accomplish. But the one thing that I encourage people to do is to look at, a lot of entrepreneurs constantly say to me, I'm not really creative and I want to hire somebody. It's your job to put you in a position of being unique. Okay, this is really, there's so much competition out there and I enjoy competition. I don't run away from competition because it gives me an opportunity to work deeper, look within, figure out how I'm going to get my target audience or my demographic, get their attention to deliver the service. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about who I am and where I come from. So these are some of the accolades that I like to give you a clear understanding of some of the things I've been able to accomplish. One of the things that I've been able to do in my life that I'm proud of is I wrote a book called Don't Let Fear Paralyze You. hence the title of this actual workshop. I wrote a book because it came from, I was at the time living at Los Angeles. I was actually at a film school at Universal Studios. And there was a lot, at a certain point of my life, I got a lot of attention about a film that I had created. And so with that being said, I realized that the amount of fear that I had at that time in my life, when it came down to really being recognized or being discovered, that responsibility literally freaked me out. And so I needed to, document kind of some of the emotions that I was going through. And when I was really starting to really understand fear, looking at it from a science perspective, and also looking at it from some of my own personal journey, I realized that the story wasn't necessarily just for me, it was for everyone else going through starting transitioning or new beginnings. And so the book itself is actually right here. You can see the actual cover right here. The actual book itself is an interactive book that it's not just me talking at the readers, but it's actually getting you to think about what you can do, any of the obstacles that are stopping you from getting those results. Does that make sense? So I really want this to be, this whole idea, even for tonight's workshop, within the hour, 55 minutes that I have with you today, please, I encourage you to interact because it's really going to benefit you for the things that you want to achieve in your careers. I'm also a certified life coach. So life coaching for me is exciting because I love to create roadmaps of success for my clients. It's amazing for me the amount of joy that I get when I work with people and they present a case to me. All the cases that you presented earlier on to us, it's amazing to see what are some of the things that you potentially in your limiting beliefs or in something that you're actually currently doing that's stopping you from getting the results. There's always a way. Right? We had somebody earlier on talking about, this incredible project about helping kids who are on the streets. There's so many ways of getting support when we understand our messaging and we can present it in the right fashion. So life coaching for me it's one of the things that I actually do when I'm working with individuals or businesses. I'm a founder of a company called A New Entertainment. A New Entertainment was founded in 2007. And so it's a media production company. I come from the world of the performing arts. I formalized the business in 2007. I was living in Vancouver at the time. And I understood that when it came down to entertainment, that the power of entertainment, the power of conveying a message, whatever that message is one of the most influential ways of getting attention from your audience. So if you look up anew-entertainment.com, you can check it out and see some of the things that we've done in the past. And again, with the world of COVID, I'm really happy as an entrepreneur that I didn't necessarily put all my eggs in one basket. I had other things going on so that I didn't necessarily have to rely on it because I had to press pause on the business when COVID happened. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Optimal Living Summit Agency. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's a health and wellness agency that one of the services that we do in Optimal is I have 27 experts in the agency that I contract out for either coaching for individuals or for corporate businesses. So health and wellness is a big passion to me. Mental health, anything to do with, financial wellness, when we're looking at sleep, all the things that people actually need. I have experts that actually help people get those results. And so I've housed that based off of my experience of being in the entertainment world. I said, why can I not create something that's going to house something for experts within wellness, right? People are talking and introducing that they're all independent, but to actually have a team represent some of these people was something that I wanted to do. So check out Optimal Living Summit as well. I'm an award-winning producer and director for events and film. So, I do have my hands in many areas, but again, my mission is pretty much the same. And it's about really elevating and helping people, with their lives, right? Raising the vibration for me and on this planet is something that I really care about. So helping you win, not only do you win, but I win watching you win. And the last thing is that a year and a half ago, I started my foundation, finally, called it's the Challenger Foundation. And so what we deal with in the foundation, we deal with youth. We talk about systemic racism, and we talk about equality in the workplace. So we actually help the youth get opportunities in different businesses and corporations. So I like to talk about the accolades and give you an idea of what it was, but it wasn't always that way. And I think that it's important for some of you who are entrepreneurs, who are really trying to transition, who are starting this new journey. It really is, it's the steps that one needs to take to really, win and overcome ourselves. So in many ways, I'd like to just, highlight that I never thought that I could achieve my dreams. I never thought that I built 4 businesses in the last 15 years. And in that I did, after time, it took the growth within that process. I really started to really gain the confidence and know what it took to really manage and lead a team. But prior to that, I was afraid of it all. I didn't think that I could actually do it. I didn't think that I had the capability. I was really kind of stepping into my own self to figure out, can I actually bring a team? So for those of you who are on this call who don't think that you can achieve your dreams, it is possible. Be patient with yourself, give yourself enough time, do the research that it needs to take to make you understand who you are and what the demographic. If you've never heard of psychoanalysis, right? Psychoanalysis is really about understanding your demographic, knowing how they sleep, knowing what they eat, how old they are. Most companies who start, they don't understand the psychoanalysis of their actual businesses. They only know that, who do you want to target? Well, I want to target everybody. I want to talk to, because I think everybody needs my services. We can't start business that way. You got to understand, you got to get very specific about who you're speaking to. I thought I had to put up with toxic relationships and sacrifice my happiness. When you're leading a business, you don't have time to put up with somebody's crap. You don't have time to deal with energy that doesn't support your business. You need cheerleaders around you. I got some people on this call tonight that are really ambitious and who are looking for specific people. You got to, whatever it is, there's a shift. So I'm not just talking about your business tonight, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the responsibility it takes for you to get the results that you truly want. So you gotta get deeper, you gotta get more profound to make sure that you're getting what you want in the end. Because at the end of the day, nobody is really looking out for you in that way unless they're specifically on your team. I didn't think I was smart enough to run my own business and be an effective leader. One of the things that I had to learn the hard way was I had a lot of pride. I thought I can do this. I can get it all done. You need people to help you, right? So really don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to look for somebody to really give you guidance. It is the key, right? There's not one person that I know that is truly successful that didn't have the courage to ask for what they actually really want in the end. You have to be able to, I think earlier on we were speaking to somebody that said, you know what? I don't always feel, like when it's that initial step, I'm kind of nervous, but once I get through the door, right, I feel comfortable, right? You need to, whoever in your life to actually help you open up that door, because that's all I care about. Today, I want you to be able to open up that door so somebody can give you the time that you need to get the results that you're looking for. At that point, once you go through the door, that's not my responsibility. That's your responsibility to take care of your business, to understand what it is that you're offering as a service and what it is that you're actually going to make them say, yes, I want to work with Cindy. Yes, I want to work with Lorna. Yes, I want to work with James. I was a perfectionist. So those of you who are on this who think, it's not right, it's not perfect enough, remember, you don't have to wait till the right time. You got to just keep moving and you will figure it out along the way. Because that is the biggest thing associated with fear. Perfectionism leads to procrastination. Then we start to procrastinate. We start to go, okay, well, it's not good enough. And then it leads to fear because now you've been waiting. You've been in your head for so long that you don't have time. You don't have this. You've waited for so long that now for you to present, you're too afraid to present. Does that make sense? So really, allow yourself to figure it all along the way. As long as you have the foundation, if your foundation is strong enough, you will learn in your business. I was afraid to speak in public. So I think that Lorna was talking about that a little bit earlier. Somebody was saying on here that about, being able to speak. Being able to speak is the most powerful way of getting authority in your industry. So if there's anything, it's taking the time to invest and understanding how to convey your message, because once you get on that stage, or once you get the opportunity, people look at you differently, right? So this idea of speaking in public, for me, I hated it because it required me to be responsible for everything that I cared about the most. And I didn't want to look like a fool in front of people. I didn't want to make a mistake. But you know what's fun? Like when I make a mistake, I have a good time making a mistake on stage. If there's a question that I don't know, I say, I don't know what that question, I'll get back to you. It's okay, because the more human we are and that we present ourselves, the more real we are, the more people want to connect to you. You don't have to be perfect, okay? So take that jump and the fear will start to melt away, because you just have to gain experience in what you're doing. Practice, 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 practice. That's it. That's what this is. It's a practice game. So you're gonna have a customer, you're gonna have a client that you made a mistake and go, that wasn't so good. That wasn't really good. That wasn't a good pitch. That wasn't a good meeting. That's okay, right? I used to beat myself up every single time I made one mistake. It would take me like literally 2 weeks to recover. Literally, like it would stay in my head over and over and over again about, I can't believe I didn't say it the right way. I would beat myself up. And now it's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. So just give yourself, again, the permission to start to just try and see what it feels like to show up in public, what it feels like to really just be present when you're delivering your service. Because the truth is, in the beginning stages, you're still figuring it out, right? And if you don't know your market, you know, I'm encouraging you to figure, you know, to do the research as much as you can. But if you have some tools, just use the tools to the best of your ability. And I was terrified of failing in front of people. Like I was just saying, that was one of the things that, you know, that held me back. But now, again, with time and experience, I have fun with it. People laugh. I'm a bit of a jokester on stage. I don't take myself too seriously when it comes to this. And that is where my relationships really stand with people, because people feel comfortable, because I'm not here to judge. Right? I'm really here to support. I'm really here to see you win. And again, like I said, when you win, I win. It's a team. I always say we. Always, always, always. I don't say, okay, Lorna, okay, James, you know what? This is what you got to do. No, no, no. It's we. What are we doing together so that we can figure this out? It's that team effort that actually creates an incredible bond between myself and the clients. So the next slide that I want to show you guys, it got a little bit too so I want us to take things to the next level. Okay, we're gonna go through some of the things that I know based on some of the experience that I have with my current clients, that some of this, it works. Okay, and there's simple examples that will help you get started on this journey in order for you to see what you actually want in your business. Okay, so be seen amongst your competition is the first thing that I want to talk about. Okay, what does that mean about being seen? This is so important. I think earlier on when, you know, Chris was talking about trying to start, you know, using domain names to get attention from certain people. You know, there's all of these, you know, the people are online trying to, you know, build their businesses online. The future is online. We know that everything is online. Supporting people is online. So we have to start being really creative in order for you to get the attention that you want. So I'm going to talk to you about a story that I think that will help shape the idea. It was a jeans campaign. So I come from the performing arts, okay? That's where I started. I was able to live very successfully in the business and make some good money. I had an agent at the time. It was a jeans campaign that was going across North America. And in this particular campaign, they weren't looking for somebody who looks like me. They were looking for European models that could move, okay? And so my agent basically said, no, did you hear about this particular campaign? It's an incredible thing. It's offering a lot of money. I'm so sorry, we can't send it to it because obviously you're not the demographic they're looking for. But the person who was actually part of the team, the choreographer, was actually, she knew who I was. And so she asked me to go to this particular campaign anyway. And I said to her, are you crazy? Like, I'm going to go to this thing and you know, they're not going to want to work with me. So she said, no. I'm not going to let them know. I just want you to show up. So I walked through the door and their faces completely dropped. They were like, hi, so what are you doing here? And I was like, well, I'm here for the audition. And so the choreographer pretended that she didn't know who I was. And they said, well, we're looking for people that can move really well. I said, yeah, I said, I can do that. I can move really. They said, okay, well, and so I'm amongst everybody else. I'm the only person in the room who looks like me. And I'm standing there and they're all kind of, I could see their faces that they're not impressed that I'm there. Fast forward to, they do what they follow protocol. They take pictures of me in the front, they take a side profile. I did a great job. I felt really confident leaving the actual space. And my agent calls me a week later and says to me, I'm not sure how this all happened, but you got the job for this campaign. And so I was like, wow. So I was completely shocked. They said they want to work with you and they actually want you there. So she said, but it's really, how do you feel about that? And I said, you know what? Out of principle, I don't want to do the campaign. So I actually declined the campaign. I said, I don't want to be there because of just based off of what I learned about, how they truly felt. And so they contacted my agent, they were freaking out. And so the fact of being bold and showing up of who I was, that changed the trajectory of my life. Because I can promise you guys this, you may walk into a space, not feel comfortable, you may think they don't want you, but if you show up your best version of yourself and you present it in a way that you are certain that they could potentially utilize your services, you'll be amazed on how you can change somebody's mind. Okay? It was the beginning of understanding that I'm in a service industry, and most of the time, people don't know what they want. You have to be able to have the courage to be clear about what I offer as a service, you will benefit from it. So never hesitate. Now, listen, I'm not saying if they're looking for watermelons, you show up with apples. It's like, okay, they clearly don't want that. But if you are in a situation where, they may be looking for something different, somebody, again, talking about entertainment over here, Cindy was looking at entertainment. You never know what people may want to add to their particular event based off of what you have. You don't know. So never feel intimidated about not feeling like you're enough in a situation. Does that make sense, everybody? It's really important for you to understand that campaign was so clear that because I gave them I did my best. Even I could have literally said, I don't feel comfortable here. I mean, I could have made up all the excuses in my head and I would have never known that they actually wanted me. So my personal brand, okay, your personal brand, my personal brand kept me going. You are the face of your business. You are the face of your business. You're a small business that people are going to want to know who is the CEO or who's the founder of this business. You need to look at your personal brand. You need to know right? Because your brand, your company is one thing, but you as a person is what they're actually buying into. They want to know, do I feel comfortable with Cindy? I love Cindy's heart. Of course I have to get her kids on board, right? So you can't separate it and actually keep it. So, like, here's my business and here's who I am. And I'm going to hide behind, my business and not show up. You have to change your mindset about who you are so that when people are working for you or want to work with you, you have that intact. Your personal brand is intact. And some people don't even, right? Maybe a lot of you on this call don't even know you don't know what your personal brand is, but it makes a difference when you're actually being sought after, right? There's something about it. So get comfortable with being unforgettable. Does that make sense? Get comfortable with being unforgettable. I'm going to use an example. I was in Los Angeles. I was at a Beverly Hills conference, and it was a business conference. And there was a gentleman that actually showed up, and he had this baseball cap, and on the baseball cap, it was an electric baseball cap, and basically you can program it to say whatever you want in front, and it would scroll back and forth, or you can have your logo on it. I mean, it was genius. He showed up at that plate, and in the beginning I was like, it's kind of cheesy, but then as time went on and I saw what that hat looked like, this man had a lineup of, like, he showed up at the right place. It was, you can customize it to whatever you want. It was brilliant. And everybody kept saying, where's the guy with the hat? there was presenters on stage. Hey, where's that guy with that hat? That actually, where are you? Can you put our logo on in front? Like, it was just amazing. And I thought, oh my God, that's the power. That's the power of being unforgettable. It's nothing fancy, but you'll never forget it. So you need to know, you got to start thinking about being online. Is it your background? Do you have something that's fiery red in the back? What do you have that somebody can go when you follow up with them and say, hey, my name is James, and I remember I was the guy that I had the fire background. They're like, oh my God, of course I know who you are. Right away, they distinctly know who you are. Now, earlier on, what's really interesting, it's kind of a bit dark back here, but if you see in my background over here, I have like a poster of Elvis up here. I have Chicago poster. I don't know if can you guys see something? There's a Lion King poster. Can you see there's Lion King up there? There's Elvis. It's kind of dark. My apologies. But anyway, so my initial, when I was speaking to Raj, can you see now? It's a bit brighter. Can you see Elvis? Can you see any of that? Anyway, there's posters where it was a lot brighter. And so Roger said to me, hey, do you have a poster up there? Because, it's Elvis, it's his, Roger, remind me, how he's 40.
He died today, 45 years ago at the age of 42.
Okay. And I didn't know this, but I was in that show. I did that show 3 times. And all of these different shows back here, I use as a background because it's a conversation starter. Even though my business is very different now, when people look at it, they say it's, oh, really? They get a sense of who I am. What are you doing to start the conversation with your clients? What are you doing so that they can get a sense of who you are? Right? Your personality, your experience, doesn't matter if it's not even in alignment with what you're doing today. If they get a sense of who you are, it just creates a trust and a relationship with them, and that's what you want. So again, that's my version of using a background. I don't always use this background. It depends on who I'm speaking to, right? You got to be savvy on how to present yourself when you show up. So I want us to think about something here today from this slide. I want you to establish 3 major unique qualities about you and your business. I don't want 1, I want 3 unique qualities about you and your business. So that when you show up at a networking event, you know exactly what to say. So, hi, okay, so Raul, what do you got? What's so different about you selling me, websites? Cindy, what do you got? What's so different about these kids? James, what do you got? You got all this stuff going on. What's so different that is going to make me want to, based off of me speaking to, I just spoke to 30 people who do what you do. What do you got? And we have to start being, listen, without trying to get morbid about this, but the world is changing rapidly. And things are becoming more expensive. And there's all kinds of stuff, food shortage. There's things that people are talking about that that is quite alarming. And generations that are coming up can't afford mortgages and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of things happening. We have to create our success. And in order to really get respected and seen, you gotta be creative, you guys. And which is why, again, I talk about my past, because my creativity has saved my life as an entrepreneur. Those ideas have saved me. Okay, it's really major, and it was, I'm talking, when I talk about the industry, they're like, well, what does that have to do with this topic? It's like, believe me, it has everything to do with it, because as entrepreneurs, you got to keep coming up with new innovative ideas, and you got to prove yourself that what you have to offer is worth their investment. So becoming an effective leader in society is the next topic that I want to look at. Okay, so no matter where you are, okay, I want you to start thinking about your standards. I want you to start thinking, if you've been in the business for a little while, what is it for you to reestablish the standard? Because what I'm talking about today is having a champion mindset. This is how it's great because, I had a conversation with Roger in the beginning, and we were talking about meditation. And so we were talking about, how do you start your day? And Roger said, it's great. I had a good day. I started my meditation. I did 10 minutes. I said, I meditate too. I do an hour in the morning. And he was like, an hour? Oh, okay. And I said, no, I do sometimes an hour at night. So instantly, the conversation gave Roger a sense of who I am as a person, right? Because I have a standard for my life. My standards reflect my business. I recently gave myself new goals this summer. I want to be able to have a body in a certain way. After COVID, I was like, never again am I allow my body to get like that. I was like, I gained 15 to 20 pounds, like never again. So this summer, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that this body is tight, okay? That's what I want. And it was just something that, right? It was something that I wanted for myself. I'm working out twice, sometimes twice a day. I've never done that before, right? I worked out, I did a recent goal of doing twice in the morning. Those are small little goals for me, but let me tell you, I feel so proud about me. I feel so happy that I'm establishing those goals. Like that champion mindset for me comes into my conversations with business. So I'm really coming back to talking about you, your attitude when it comes to you and your business, because it's all connected. You cannot separate it. You got to look at it as, as one. So, I want to encourage you, it starts with your calendar. The champion mindset starts with you and your calendar. Start building a calendar that reflects, what does it mean, Lorna, to be a champion? What does it mean, Cindy, to be a champion? What does it mean, James, to be a champion? What does that mean to you? It's not going to be the same for me, but let me tell you, that's going to translate and you will feel so proud knowing that you followed your own steps, you're listening to your own life, wherever it's coming from, if you have to, like, spiritually, whatever you're doing, but write it down and follow those steps. And if you don't know how to do that, start to follow people who inspire you. Who is somebody that's in your industry that you don't know, research a person who's actually doing what you do, because mentor-mentee is everything. You got to find a mentor in your life that you can go, you know what? I love, some of those points. I love what they're doing. I'm going to steal some of those points and actually make it my own. Because right, in every single field, we have examples and we can emulate those examples in our own life and make it our own. So find people that inspire you so that you feel like a champion. This is all about feeling, you guys. This is all about feeling. This is all about, you have to emotionalize how you feel in order for you to get the results and take action in the direction that you want. This is all about how you feel. You don't feel passionate about your business, the person in front of you that you're talking to is not gonna feel passionate about what you're trying to sell. I can guarantee. But when you show up and you're like, listen, and you just finished doing your meditation, you just finished doing your job, and then you show up and here I am, and you're talking about what you got, your presentation, you're ready, you feel good, they're gonna feel it. It's all energy. It's all energy. And people pick up on those energies. And you know what? They'll probably buy you your service. They may not even be 100% about what you want, but based on how you made them feel, they'll probably they'll take they'll think twice about what you're doing and they'll jump on board. Does that make sense? It's major, okay? How you make people feel, it's incredibly important. And if you show up in that room and you're like, hi, so, I just really wanna, I don't know, it's been a while now, I've been working on it. I mean, you lose your clientele immediately. So get clear on how you want, when you're demonstrating, finesse that pitch, right? There's many groups and networking groups that tell you, you can't come in here and talk to us and give me, 5-10 minutes about if you don't know what you're saying. You got 30 seconds to prove yourself. That stuff you need to have down. So that's not just in networking groups, that's in business. People don't have time, right? So I don't want you guys to play to survive. I want you guys to play to win. This is not about just getting by, because just getting by is not enough with what's happening in the world today. If you want to be effective an effective leader in society and you want to get the results as an entrepreneur, you got to play to win. So you got to go the extra mile, and whatever that extra mile is, figure it out. You got to wake up earlier. We got to wake up earlier. If whatever you have to do, right, to fit it in so that you feel proud of yourself, You got to feel proud of yourself, right? I think earlier on we're talking about being a hypnotherapist and talking about public speaking and you're wearing all these hats and trying to get things done. What are you doing? What time are you allocating in terms of time management? What are you putting aside that you can dedicate toward what you want to accomplish in your life? Is this a dream? Is this something that you actually, all these ideas as an entrepreneur and you never actualize it? Because let me tell you, that is the worst feeling ever. I have all these ideas and I feel great and I'm really passionate, and you get it and you don't get it done. It is the worst feeling ever. So do yourself the favor. Remember, play to win, not just to survive. So connecting purpose with success is the next topic. And this is something that I know that has saved me and saved many of my clients when it comes down to actually gaining the success that they actually really want. Because you may be excited about making money, but I can tell you money after a while starts to get, it's great and it solves it, but it's not enough in terms of creating legacy, in terms of what you want to create. So if you don't know this, I highly recommend you to start thinking about what is your purpose. What are you here for? Are you here to save the youth? Are you here to empower businesses? Are you here to solve problems? Are you here to lead? What's your purpose? And that has to be very clear, because that's the thing that's going to help you get up in the morning and keep you motivated to keep moving forward. Because if it's just about a business model, you guys, and about transitioning so that you can be independent, I'm telling you, you're going to get bored. You're going to get bored of it's not going to be enough for you to feel like passionate about getting the results that you want. I am a high achiever. I have high standards and I want to go after big things. And those things keep me going. I need quarterly goals, personal quarterly goals for myself, quarterly goals for my business. And those quarterly goals keep me on track when you use your business plan, when you look at your quarterly goals and you go, I'm hitting my mark. And there's nothing better to know that you can hit your mark after writing it down and accomplishing it. But you got to know your purpose. You got to know what makes you feel invigorated, what keeps you happy, because we all know the stories of people who have a lot of money and are miserable because they don't have a purpose. They got what they wanted. It's like, okay, cool, that's great. I'm here, I'm really, but they're miserable, right? So, look a little bit deeper, because your dream is important. We have several. And I know that for a fact, and I like to use my life as an example, that most of the dreams that I've had, I've actually created them. And not many people can actually say that. That part of business, of being able to understand deeply within, of knowing how to structure that, actually being clear. You got to start with, because today we're not talking about the science of fear. Today we're not talking about business structure. Today we're talking about branding. We're not talking about all the things that it takes to manage your business. We're talking about some of the fundamental things to keep you in rhythm with getting success. It is huge, right? So your self-expression leads to greater opportunity, because the more authentic you are with yourself about what it is that you want to achieve, the greater the opportunities, because people will see you for you. I'm telling you, if you show up there and you are crystal clear about how passionate you are about some of these things that you want to do, people will pay attention. But if you don't have purpose of wanting to knock on that door, if you don't have the gumption, you haven't done the work. Does that make sense? You gotta know why this is what you want to do. You got to know why you want to get these results. So that if somebody asks you on the spot, okay, so that's good. I'm really happy that you're about websites, but what else besides what tell me why? Tell me how is this going to change my life? How is it changing your life? What, right? You got to know. You got to have those answers ready for people, because people will challenge you. I'm challenged constantly about the agency. I'm constantly being challenged about the people that I represent. Okay, so that's so-and-so. So, she's a sleep expert. Tell me why she's a good sleep expert. Tell me why she does what she does. What results is she getting? They want all the answers because they're not going to promote it to anybody else until it's proven or that you can have enough experience for them to want to buy what you're selling. So this is, today's chat is really about thinking about your business, thinking about your attitude around your business. Because when you start to do that, the fear that you feel that you're like, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not ready, you're probably right. But it doesn't mean that it can't be, that it won't translate into something better. Because the fear starts to melt away when you start to really get crystal clear about some of the things that you're trying to target and do. So what's the community, okay? What is there a current community that you're involved with, right? So today you're here with entrepreneurs. Congratulations on actually opening up and being, honest about where you are today. But is there a coach? Is there a community? Who is staying with you on this journey? Who's inspiring you to stay really invigorated? Who are your people? Right? The problem with COVID was a lot of people went through this isolation, feeling really alone and not being a part of any community. And now this is really about figuring out with your business, who can actually help you generate sales? What kind of joint ventures can you create? What kind of partnerships can you create? These are some of the things that you can think about because you don't have to do it alone. And when you start to connect with the right people, you'll see how rapid your business starts to grow because they're all in your corner, right? So relationships. I can't stress relationships as an entrepreneur in business. Those relationships will translate, they will convert into something that you're going to want in the end. But if you don't understand the fundamental part of why you do what you do, and you show up just like creating a speech saying, hi, my name is John, and I'm here because I really want to sell you my paintings. And yeah, I just like it because it's my own way of, no, it's not good enough, right? What, like, give me more. Tell me why accounting is exciting for you. What kind of accounting do you do in your industry or business that's going to make it so that people, want to come back to you as a repeat client? What do you have that's extra? I know it sounds really, boring. Oh, it's accounting, but it's the person behind the accounting that makes the actual business. And depending on how they sell themselves, they will get it because we know that everybody needs an accountant. That makes sense? So I'm challenging your creative brains. I'm challenging you to go to think a little bit further. I'm challenging you to get the help, challenging you to actually move in a direction where you know that you've developed enough confidence to get that work, to open up that door. And like I said earlier on, I don't care about all the logistics of what you're doing right now. I care that the door opens up and people take you seriously and they want to listen to what you have to say. So it's I don't know what, I think it's, yeah, we're pretty good on time here. I want to, let everybody know that in order to stay in contact with me, there's something that Roger's gonna actually be sharing in the chat. There's a thing that I like to give away for free. It's called the Mini Success Workbook. Okay, and this Mini Success Workbook is basically, it's about 3 different pages that gets you to start this journey and to start thinking about ways of obtaining your success. So if you go to, and Roger's gonna put this in the chat, www.michaelchallenger.com, you click on that, there's gonna be a link that's called No Fear. And once you click on that link, you scroll down and you're gonna see something that's gonna be a little mini form that's gonna say, download your Mini Success Workbook, get that Mini Success Workbook, right? Download that, fill it in, get your mind moving in the right direction. Okay, it was prepared and designed to help you to start thinking outside of you just kind of trying to figure things out on your own, and that there's goals that are associated with what, there's a 90-day goal that's on there of just trying to get you in the right frame of mind. So it's all about your success and it's all about you winning. So Again, Roger will show you some of the links. You can reach me on LinkedIn. You guys can follow me on Instagram. If you go to Insta, it's michael.challenger. Find me on Instagram. Get in touch with me. If you want to talk about coaching, today what I'm doing is I'm actually offering everybody here, it's a small group, it's great, of giving you 1 hour of coaching for free. Okay, so you can get in touch with me. We can start that, starting a new relationship and helping you get on the right track. It gives me pleasure to do it. I love being a part of these discussions, and I love hearing new entrepreneurs trying to really go after their dreams, because at the end of the day, this is something that you had in your head and you need to actualize it, but you need support and guidance. I just want to thank you all for listening to me today, and yeah, really pleased that I was here and honored. So thank you so much, Roger.
Michael, could you look at the chat if you can and confirm that I have given the audience the correct links?
Yeah, so let me just check here. So that is great. So the email is michael@optimallivingsummit.com, if you guys can see that. The website. So yeah, so we have so you guys, you'll notice that you'll see there's www.optimallivingsummit.com. That is the actual company website. But you'll notice if you scroll down, there's michaelchallenger.com. Like I said, go to that link and you can get directly in contact with me. And but all those links there are correct. So thank you, Roger.
Great. So we have a little bit of time. Are there any questions that you have for Michael?
I had one actually.
Far away.
So I was just wondering, you mentioned you were an entrepreneur since the age of 13.
Yes.
And what was the Eureka moment where you kind of completely lost your fear? Was there an incident or someone you met that, you flipped completely?
It's a really great question. So recently this actually happened to me, that I was a coach basically called me because she wanted me to coach her. And so she's a coach herself. So we said, well, she said, well, how can I do this? I'm just financially kind of strapped in certain ways. I said, okay, let's barter. Let's see what you can actually do for some of the based on some of the things that I'm doing with the agency. And so we started to work and started talking about it. She asked me that same question, and she said, you wrote this book about fear. What's coming up in your life? And I said, because she said, it's really interesting that, fear being one of the things that stops the majority of people, how did you overcome it? And I was like, here's the deal. The fear never goes away, okay? The fear is always actually going to be present depending on how big the actual goal is. So yes, so the book, when I wrote the book, these are all the steps that I took to overcome to get to where I am. But now I have a team, I have new, things that concern me. The world is changing, right? So I told her, I said, she's like, are you afraid of anything? I said, absolutely. I'm afraid of with the economy. I'm afraid of what's happening in the world, And she's like, well, it's really interesting, that you wrote a book about fear and that you still have fear. And I said, yeah, I'm a human being. You know what I mean? It's not that I still experience it, but the tools that I've developed, the tools around it is what helps us to keep us centered when new things happen. So I don't, because if there was a book, let me tell you, Raul, if there was a book that said, read this book and fear is going to disappear, I'd be the first person to buy it. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah.
So I know it's not, but I think, there's I think that, to kind of even to support even what your question is, that practice is key. Okay. That's one of the things that in terms of speaking in public, approaching new clients, it's practice. And so
yeah.
we cannot, the more that we avoid it or the more we keep prolonging it, that's when we start to experience real types of fear.
I feel like it's more like stretching your boundaries, keep stretching it one piece at a time.
Correct. And that is the key of knowing that, but consciously understanding that I'm going to voluntarily stretch myself so that I know that so that I can grow in this area. Right. Yeah. So we got to be methodical about it at times too, because there's a thing called being unconsciously competent. We can be very unconscious about what we do, but we're competent. I got through my day, but you're not really thinking about it because you're just getting through your day. When you write it down and you're like, I'm going to go after X, Y, and Z and experience what it feels like to go through that fear, you will feel the gratification knowing you did it.
Yeah.
And just to follow up on the role question, what was happening in your life at 13 that made you become an entrepreneur? Was that voluntary, involuntarily? What was happening?
So that was something that I was luckily scouted by a woman, and she saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself, and she basically somebody saw me and said, I want to introduce you to a woman that is involved in the business. And I went through basically an audition like everybody else, and she just said, this is a great, you can do really well in this business. And she was right. But it was also, but it comes back down to just, again, as an entrepreneur, my work ethic was impeccable because, okay, I was a young boy, whatever, I showed up late sometimes, whatever, of course. But when it came down to following direction, when it came down to actually executing whatever it is that my client wanted me to do, I always went 100. Like that's always been built in me, 120%. You give me the job, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna over deliver to give you the results. And based off of that, I just kept getting called back. So it was like, I think Cindy was saying it earlier on, that it's that word of mouth. I mean, it's just, we know it's still one of the most powerful ways of getting work. You show up in a way, people will want to come back and work with you, but it's all based on your attitude. I can't stress it. As an entrepreneur, if your attitude sucks, you're not going to get the work.
Michael, on behalf of EIN's 79,000 members, I thank you hugely. I really appreciate you getting back into the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. And one of the things you said really rang true for me, and that was that one of the tools you use to overcome fear is clarity. Clarity about your values, clarity about your mission, clarity about your vision, clarity about your goals, clarity about who you are as a human being. So I think that's a really important message for entrepreneurs to hear, because so often we're tempted to be like somebody else. And we are unique as human beings, so let's also be unique as entrepreneurs. And when we are, and when we have a great deal of clarity, there is a universal force that seems to propel us forward, that makes us unstoppable, that makes us bold. And so I really thank you for sharing that super important message with us, Michael.
Thank you so much, Roger. Yeah, it's amazing when we actually, dive a little bit deeper with those results. It's surprising to see how people, love you when you love yourself. So it's, believe in your goals, believe in who you are, and keep going.
Thank you.